Hi there, KOIN 6 Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart here with this live update for you on Facebook, YouTube, and KOIN.com as the wildfire potential is increasing here, unfortunately, across much of the Pacific Northwest. We'll go ahead and just dive into what we are really kind of seeing over the past few hours. It was earlier this afternoon, just after lunchtime or so, 1 o'clock, is when we started to pick up on a few sites of a potential fire burning along I-84 just west of the Dalles. That's exactly what we are seeing here with some of these images coming in from KOIN 6 viewer Tito Rodriguez from the Dalles area. The smoke plumes billowing up from earlier this afternoon and continuing this evening, unfortunately, prompting highway closures along I-84 as that fire continues to burn. The reason for the highway closures is because of all of that wildfire smoke that is currently burning and pushing itself horizontally because of all of the gusty winds that we are currently seeing across much of the area this evening, and that's going to unfortunately be the case through the rest of the night unless fire crews get the upper hand on it, which we are keeping our fingers crossed that actually becomes a reality for us, just because we are concerned that this could rapidly grow in size and intensity just because of how hot, how dry, and now how windy we are just east of the Columbia River Gorge. I want to give you another image view, just incredible shots coming in from all of our viewers here across the area, especially out towards the Dalles. The Rowena fire, again, courtesy Randall Myers for sending in this incredible shot. You can almost see some of the red, what appears to be retardant to potentially slow and stop the fire from burning. You can see it just ever so slightly on the hillside there, maybe potentially trying to stop those flames from coming over, because indicated by this image, you can see where the winds are carrying all of that wildfire smoke. Again, just another incredible image coming in here. This one from Sarah James. Again, the Dalles kind of the front stage of all of this activity that we are seeing here across the Columbia River Gorge. Again, those winds, they're just screaming and howling out of the gorge and pushing their way from west to east. Those are also known as the downsloping winds. And just to give you a little bit of perspective of exactly where these fires are currently burning, there are two of them, although a lot of those images that we were just showing you from the Rowena fire. So that's going to be the one out towards Wasco County. That's in Oregon, if you're unfamiliar with this territory, just to the north and east of the Mount Hood area. And the Dalles right now, wind speeds out of the west at about 44 miles per hour. That's those downsloping winds. They're howling out the Columbia River Gorge along I-84, and that's really adding fuel and fanning the flames to the fire, really, as our relative humidity values right now are only at about 30%. So truly something that we don't like to see all kind of compiled together to help fan those flames. The secondary fire, that's in Skamania County in southwest Washington, again impacting a lot of us, but the winds thankfully out that direction just a little bit calmer, closer to 40 miles per hour. But really, as we work our way through the rest of this evening, we are anticipating a lot of those winds to still remain out of the west, tapering back as we move our way into the early morning hours, which is typically the point at which we see the calmest winds, only falling back to maybe 20-mile-per-hour gusts by about 6 a.m. or so, and then ramping back up again tomorrow afternoon. Now, I do want to take this moment and take a look back at our 6 o'clock newscast. We have crews on the ground, our very own Anthony Costura, giving us a better insight of exactly what is happening in that area from just about 35 minutes to almost an hour or so ago. Take a look.
Anthony Costura joins us live. Now, Anthony, what can you tell us? I know you're still on your way to those fires.
Yeah, Jeff, since I last talked to you at 5, we did make it to Hood River, fortunately, although we pulled over because traffic, as you mentioned, is such a mess. I can tell you more than 2,000 homes are under evacuation orders tonight in Wasco County. That includes 733 homes told to go now because of the Rowena fire. I do want to show you some new video from the Wasco County Sheriff's Office. This really shows how intense things are getting out here. You can see thick smoke just pouring off the hills and a totally empty stretch of I-84 shut down between Hood River and the Dalles. As the car keeps rolling here, you can see visibility just falls off. This is what firefighters are up against right now. Heavy smoke, that wind, and a fire moving very quickly. Just in the last half hour, as you mentioned, we learned Oregon Governor Tina Kotek called in backup, invoking the Emergency Conflagration Act. That means 6 state fire teams are now heading in to help local crews here. We saw them on I-84 coming in from Clackamas County. We saw Estacada as well as Colton. Those flames are moving fast near Rowena River Road and Highway 30. So the strong winds are pushing the fire dangerously close to homes. And because of that, shelters are now open at the Dowd Middle School. And officials say if you have livestock, they're opening the Wasco County Fairgrounds to take all of those animals in. Across the river in Washington, that second fire shut down a stretch of State Route 14, that's in Skamania County. So far, no injuries have been reported in either of these fires, but officials are warning folks those conditions can change very quickly, so they're urging folks to stay out of the area. That's why 84 is shut down right now. We're going to keep very close tabs on this throughout the evening. We'll have updates for you on KOIN.com, and then tonight at 11 on KOIN 6 News at 11.
Of course, that latest information coming in about an hour or so ago from our very own Anthony Costura. We do have live updates on KOIN.com where you can get the latest information there as well if we don't discuss it here on this Facebook, KOIN.com live, and YouTube live as well. You can also get the latest newscasts replayed for you with our brand new streaming app, KOIN Plus. It's downloadable on Roku, Amazon TV, and also Apple TV. So we hope that you watch over there to get this life-saving, critical information for you right here. So really just kind of expecting those winds to stay relatively increased over the next several hours and really through the next 24 hours or so. Yes, it's less than ideal to see these fires starting to crop up, but it's also not out of the realm of surprise, I guess I would say, because you can see here our fire danger cropping back up to low to moderate category for much of the Pacific Northwest. We have seen improvements here along the shoreline of western Oregon, southwest Washington, falling back to that minimal category. That's because of a nice onshore flow, but that does not mean that that more moist, cooler air from the Pacific is making its way up over the Cascades. So that is exactly what we are seeing right now as we are really kind of falling back to that moderate category again over the locations that those fires are currently burning. A live look right now out towards the Mount Hood area, Mount Hood Meadows. You can just see how much snow has melted as of late, as our temperatures still, even at this hour, is hovering right around 60 degrees or so. We would definitely like to see those temperatures cooler to keep all of that snow locked in place, because once we lose the snowpack, then that means our fire potential starts to increase rapidly. Now, it comes as no surprise that the month of May, June, July, we see rapid melting. But over the last measurements measured back in the middle of May, Mount Hood and the Timberline Lodge area was sitting with a snow deficit of about 30 inches, comparatively speaking. That's because of the slowdown in the snow accumulation that we saw. Really, once we got to about March or so, we didn't see a lot of additional big major snow events. So anything that was on the ground stayed in place because temperatures were below freezing, but now it's quickly starting to melt, and that's what's giving us that deficit. On top of that, we have been rain-free here in the Rose City now for 7 days. We desperately need to see the return of that moisture, really, as we are picking up on a lot of that over the next little while. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give you a different picture here of that June rain deficit, now upwards of over a half inch. So we desperately need to see the return of some moisture. Something else to really kind of point out here is the thunderstorm threat that we are currently watching. That is out towards I-84, so east of the Cascades. You'll notice a lot of that lightning activity still firing up out towards the Baker City location, Mount Vernon as well, just to the north and west of Burns. It's that lightning that poses a threat of potentially starting and spreading brand new wildfires, a sight we don't necessarily want to see, but that's the actuality of what we are moving into with a few of those isolated thunderstorms. Again, nothing is expected to become severe like what we saw about this time yesterday. The I-5 corridor, that is just being picked up on as far as just those high, thin cirrus clouds, making for mostly cloudy conditions right now, but still a little bit of that sunlight is able to kind of punch its way through some of those high clouds. As our current temperatures up and down the I-5 corridor into the low 70s, you'll notice slightly closer to 80 degrees east of the Cascades, so that's helping to kind of fan those flames. Thankfully, though, all of our temperatures here across the Pacific Northwest down, comparatively speaking, to where we were just 24 hours prior, down by about 10, 15 degrees. Earlier this afternoon, LeGrand was down almost 20 degrees or so after our daytime highs, again, east of the Cascades, where those fires are burning close to the low to mid-90s, still well above the average. Thankfully, that onshore flow dropping the valley temperatures, coastal spots back down to relatively average conditions, as Portland should typically be seeing those highs right around 73 degrees or so. A live look out towards the Mount Hood area. This is from our very brand new Fairfield by Marriott Portland Airport camera, showing just that light breeze, the onshore flow, which is really kind of funneling its way into the Columbia River Gorge and causing those gusty winds as well, as we anticipate to kind of play around with that cloud coverage for the rest of the night tonight. Good news is, as a trough of cooler air, it's going to start to work its way back into western Oregon and southwest Washington, dropping those temperatures as we move our way towards Friday. That's where Portland's temperature could bottom out right around 71 degrees. That will also help to drop temperatures east of the Cascades and hopefully get the fire crews the upper hand with those two fires burning along I-84 on this Wednesday afternoon. So we'll get a few clouds in the mix tonight into tomorrow as well. We'll see mostly sunny conditions tomorrow afternoon. Really nothing in the way of any moisture. But by Friday afternoon and evening, we increase that cloud coverage, drop those temperatures. Again, unfortunately, this is not having a lot of impact for us east of the Cascades. But for tonight here in the city, 50 degrees is where we expect to fall to with those mostly cloudy skies. And for tomorrow, significantly cooler, right around average for this time of year. 75 is that expected high. For any gardeners out there, keep the watering can close at hand. It's really going to be on the warm but dry side for us, as we are going to take another look, if you're just now joining us here, on those two fires currently burning out along I-84. This is in Skamania County. That's the one that you see on the left-hand corner of your screen. That's the smaller of the fires, but the larger one, and again, we're still trying to get information trickled in, so we don't know the exact size or the acreage burned right now, but the larger of the two, the fire burning in Wasco County, just west of the Dalles, really being fanned and fueled by those gusty winds close to 45 miles per hour, as our current relative humidity values right around 30% or so. Let me give you a closer look at our 7-day forecast here for the Portland, Vancouver metro area. That's where we are expecting to see some cooling conditions as we move our way into Friday and eventually into Saturday as well. So we would like to continue to see this trend take hold, especially east of the Cascades right now. And this is going to eventually lead way to maybe a stray rain shower or two. Once we move our way into Tuesday evening, Wednesday, we can keep our fingers crossed that hopefully this actually comes to fruition and is going to decrease that fire potential, although the rain doesn't look to be pushing over the Cascades, unfortunately. If you are just now joining us, I do want to give you just a little bit of a recap of exactly what we are talking about with the Rowena fire that is currently burning just to the west of the Dalles. There are level 3 Go Now evacuations currently underway. We have all of the latest details right now up on our main screen, KOIN.com. That's where you can get that latest information. Again, you can really see that the smoke is being fueled, being pushed its way further off to the east as the winds are coming out the west right now. Tito Rodriguez sending in that photo. Randall Myers sending in this photo of that smoke pushing its way further to the east. You can almost pick out a little bit of that fire retardant right now being shown with the red. That's just above the burn word on our lower third. So wildfires burn along I-84. Just above that, that's where we are seeing that red. That could potentially be that fire retardant in our area as well. As far as the video goes, you can really see that the winds aloft are pushing all of that wildfire smoke directly over I-84. That's why ODOT has closed the interstate right now. So the latest information, again, on that with KOIN.com. There's those fires, there's those gusty winds, and I do want to go ahead and play back exactly what our very own Anthony Costura had discussed from our 6 o'clock newscast in case you missed that. So here is the latest information with Anthony.
Anthony Costura joins us live. Now, Anthony, what can you tell us? I know you're still on your way to those fires.
Yeah, Jeff, since I last talked to you at 5, we did make it to Hood River, fortunately, although we pulled over because traffic, as you mentioned, is such a mess. I can tell you more than 2,000 homes are under evacuation orders tonight in Wasco County. That includes 733 homes told to go now because of the Rowena fire. I do want to show you some new video from the Wasco County Sheriff's Office. This really shows how intense things are getting out here. You can see thick smoke just pouring off the hills and a totally empty stretch of I-84 shut down between Hood River and the Dalles. As the car keeps rolling here, you can see visibility just falls off. This is what firefighters are up against right now. Heavy smoke, that wind, and a fire moving very quickly. Just in the last half hour, as you mentioned, we learned Oregon Governor Tina Kotek called in backup, invoking the Emergency Conflagration Act. That means 6 state fire teams are now heading in to help local crews here. We saw them on I-84 coming in from Clackamas County. We saw Estacada as well as Colton. Those flames are moving fast near Rowena River Road and Highway 30. So the strong winds are pushing the fire dangerously close to homes. And because of that, shelters are now open at the Dalles Middle School. And officials say if you have livestock, they're opening the Wasco County Fairgrounds to take all of those animals in. Across the river in Washington, that second fire shut down a stretch of State Route 14, that's in Skamania County. So far, no injuries have been reported in either of these fires, but officials are warning folks those conditions can change very quickly, so they're urging folks to stay out of the area. That's why 84 is shut down right now. We're going to keep very close tabs on this throughout the evening. We'll have updates for you on KOIN.com, and then tonight at 11 on KOIN 6 News at 11.
And of course, as Anthony had mentioned, this is a rapidly changing scenario for us here as those winds still remain extremely gusty, again, coming out of the west. And we are going to be keeping a very close tabs on this fire development. The 2 fires burning out towards Skamania County, again, in parts of south central Washington, and again out towards Wasco County, just west of the Dalles. These 2 fires impacting I-84 as the hot, dry, and windy conditions still remain for us here across the Pacific Northwest. Expecting to see those winds still remain relatively high through the rest of the night tonight, only falling back to 15 to 20 miles per hour by about sunrise. Unfortunately, ramping their way back up yet again as we work our way into tomorrow. So just devastating sights, unfortunately, coming out of the Dalles for this evening, and that is where we are going to continue to keep you up to date with all of the latest information on KOIN.com. Also, you can find the latest information at KOIN Plus, our brand new streaming app. You can download it on Roku, on Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV as well. But of course, we'll have the latest information on the 10 tonight on Portland CW, and also on KOIN 6 News at 11 o'clock on CBS. We'll see you then.